Welcome back to Seriously Funny. I'm your host, Mashnor Kabir, and I throw my pain with my wishes in a wishing well. This week we talk about something that a friend of mine showed me a few weeks back. He was pretty infatuated, enamored, I don't know the perfect word for it, by the idea because of the building he worked in, liminal spaces. There's a chance that if you roam the internet, you have seen a picture of the back rooms. Video watchers can see it here on the screen, and for audio listeners, the back rooms depict what is best described as an emptied out office with yellowish lights, an unappealing wallpaper that's slightly yellow with the blue outlines of elongated arrows, as well as a carpet that looks a bit moist. The vibe that the room gives off is musty. In the original picture, which came from a creepypasta, which, if you're unaware, is a short horror story. Basically, if not horror, it's meant to creep you out. But the caption on the picture was as follows, quote, "If you're not careful and you no-clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the back rooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old, moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as heck heard you." End quote. No clipping is a term used in video games, by the way. It's when you glitch somewhere in the game and you fall through the computer-generated world. Maybe when you've played Minecraft and you fell through the world, you've seen this happen where you see all the lava, all the caves, all the diamonds, and you just see, fall through the world, and then you die. But, who cares about that part, am I right? But yeah, that's what the caption said. It is pretty creepy, especially if you do see the picture. If you're an audio listener, I would recommend that you look it up. Just look up back rooms. You'll find it. It's pretty good. But the photo exploded. Even without the caption, the photo was strangely eerie. It included feelings, it induced feelings of massive discomfort. There's no person in the picture. It feels like something is off. Maybe something is missing. It feels like you aren't supposed to be looking at the picture. And these liminal spaces, these photos, they're uncanny, they're uncomfortable, and sometimes nostalgic. But again, they're off. And so we define liminal spaces with two definitions. Quote, well, if you look it up on Google, you get two definitions. Quote, relating to a transitional or initial stage of a process, end quote, or quote, occupying a position at or on both sides of a boundary or threshold, end quote. Liminality can also be a transitional space, even a point in life where you're in transition, graduating, saying bye to friends. They can, of course, be physical spaces, a school after classes have ended, an empty parking lot, a house with all of its furniture removed. A lot of people see these images and they feel a sense of familiarity, a sense of, I've been here before. Others feel something called, from the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, which is a dictionary that was made by some guy, I don't remember his name, but it was a bunch of words used to describe situations and feelings that were, poignant, sorrowful, and not very great. Like, I actually have it pulled up here. We can read a few of these. Ringlorn, adjective, the wish that the modern world felt as epic as the one depicted in old stories and folk tales, a place of tragedy and transcendence, of oaths and omens and fates where everyday life felt like a quest for glory, a mythic bond which an ancient past or a battle for survival against a clear enemy rather than an open-ended parlor game where all rules are made up and the points don't matter. These are some longer ones. Here's another one. Lilo, noun, a friendship that can lie dormant for years only to pick right back up instantly, as if no time had passed since you last saw each other. Is there another short one, or are they all huge? I think they're all pretty big, yeah. But those two should give you a sense, and we have another one other than canopsia. But canopsia, from the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, is defined as the eeriness of places left behind. So like when something gets abandoned, an abandoned hospital, an abandoned anything, there's an eeriness to it. It's a place that was left behind. It's gone. And there's no one there anymore. There's nothing there anymore. It's not like you left it. It's everyone. All. It's just been abandoned. It's gone. And it's been left behind. And there's a certain strange tinge, a strange feeling that comes from these things or from these places. And that's what Canopsia describes. And that's what these liminal pictures or liminal spaces, if you just look up liminal spaces on Google and go to images, that's what this feels like sometimes. Sometimes it's like an empty gas station, or maybe even one car with no people at the gas station. Who knows? But another word from the same source, Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, is anemoia, a feeling of nostalgia from a time you've never known, which may be due to the fact that although you may not have been in the place where the liminal picture specifically was, you've been in places like a swimming pool, a playground, a poorly furnished or unfurnished house, a gas station. So if you look at these liminal pictures, and I'm sure I'll have a bunch on the screen, if you look at all of these liminal pictures, maybe some of them make you feel this certain way. They make you feel a bit weird, a bit uncanny, uncomfortable, again, nostalgic. And again, it just feels like maybe you're not supposed to be looking at the pictures. Maybe, I don't know, something is just off. It doesn't feel right. And they're just so weird. A lot of times these pictures are taken they're not very good quality. They're very noisy and low quality, and they're never really significant places. It's not like an empty Eiffel Tower or something. They're ordinary. They're out of context. Sometimes they evoke anxiety or fear. The ones with the hallways or the corners make me think sometimes, like, what's behind that corner, right? What's behind all of those zigzags is a bit terrifying. If you're interested, you can go to r/liminal spaces on Reddit, and you'll find a bunch of them taken by people just out in the wild. I don't derive much pleasure myself from looking at them. They make me feel not great. But my friend was rolling in them. He was loving it. He'd have them pulled up. He showed me a bunch of interesting videos on them. We spent a ton of time going through them, and he talked to me about how he felt like the building that he'd worked in for the past few years seemed to be turning into a liminal space. He'll be moving away soon, and he was left with this forlorn feeling that this place he learned so much in and worked on so many of his skills at it feels abandoned to him a bit. And he was having a good time. Let me tell you, he was semi-chubbed for these liminal spaces. It was a good, I mean, he was passionate about it. He really was. But the next thing, in the middle of our conversation on liminal spaces, we went to get food. He got Chipotle. I got Zaxby's. I have an addiction to Zaxby's, let me tell you. And also, I just discovered their salads. They have this one salad that's like, I don't remember what it was called, but it's the one where you like get buffalo wings in your salad, like boneless ones in your salad. And it's like $8, like $9 after you pay the tax and everything. It's like basically, so $9. And if you just get like a 10 piece, it's like, I'm not sure how much is a 10 piece. A 10 piece is like $10 or something. It's like double the price, or like way more. It's not $10. Can we look this up right now? Let's see, Zaxby's. We're going to do some on the field research here. Where's this menu? How much does it cost? It might be different where you live, but let's find the price here. Let's just get the wings. So just the wings. Not the meal. Where are you, wings? Did I press meals? I pressed meals, didn't I? Okay. Here we go. 10 wings. Oh, never mind. It's the same price. 20 wings would be okay. All right. My brain was just stupid. Anyways, I'm a big Zaxby's guy. That's the moral of the story here. He got Chipotle, I got Zaxby's. And whilst we walked back to the building, it was getting late, around 8 or 9, but it's a college campus, so lights were still on in buildings, workers in the dining halls. Activity was still happening a bit. Once we got into the building, it was empty. Lights were dimly on. The monochromatic hallways with the gray floor and off-white walls were empty. And he says, this is so liminal. And although he was making a slight joke referencing our conversation, he was right. And there was this sense of emptiness, thinking about the empty labs in the building, knowing that any room we entered would be void of people, the empty conference rooms. It left me with a feeling of emptiness, I guess you could say. I'd only been going to the building for a few months to that point. My friend had been there consistently for years on end now. I couldn't imagine what he felt going through the hallways because he was so used to seeing this building with way more people. But it didn't end there. We kept talking till like 10 or 11 at night. We talked about this for a while. I love seeing him get passionate about things, and so this was one of those things. And so seeing him get really excited about it, I loved listening to him talk about it. And we watched a bunch of videos, and it was really good. A good day overall. Although, I mean, again, these things super uncomfortable to me, but I didn't mind sitting there being a bit uncomfortable. I don't know. I guess it's like watching horror movies with people. Why would you enjoy that? I don't watch horror movies. I don't do that. This is wild. Anyways, like I said, I'm afraid of what's behind the corner. Like if it's in front of my face, that's great. But if my like blinds are closed, I'm like, if I open those blinds right now, what happens? What do I see? I don't like that. Where was I? I don't remember whether or not I missed the bus that day. It was time for me to go. Again, I go to bed at 9, so 10 or 11, we talked for a while. I don't remember whether or not I missed the bus, but walking out of the building, the campus was silent now. The streets were empty, the atmosphere was dark, and as I walked down the sidewalk to the buses, my mind was primed to search for this liminality, and I could see it. Even down the roads of the campus I'd only been in for the past half a year. Remember, I didn't go to campus for my freshman year. I was in COVID. Seeing the empty roads, the abandonment, the feeling of knowing there are people here but not seeing them. This dissonance between my understanding and my perception was discomforting. I'm not sure what more to say on this. The eeriness is rough. And that's something I thought I'd share. The streets were completely empty. There were some lamps on lighting the way from the building to where I would need to go to get on the bus. And, the sky was dark. It was dark. The cars weren't really going anywhere. The dining hall, the lights were on, but there was no one there now. And it was all just liminal. I don't know. I definitely haven't hit time at all. I'm at like 12, 13 minutes. So I wanted to talk about this last piece, becoming liminal, the transition into the transitional phase or space. The process of the building my friend did his work in becoming abandoned as different staff left the institution, leading to projects getting shut down or left behind and students not coming anymore. One thing I wanted to talk about was this. The way my college works for ECE, Electrical and Computer Engineering, which is my major, for your first year, you're a general engineering student. So semester 1, semester 2, general engineering. You take a engineering, like fundamentals of engineering or foundations of engineering, whatever. You take one of those classes, two of those classes, one in each semester. You take, and then you have some general classes, so physics, chemistry, chemistry 1, and intro to chem, intro to physics, and then you're going to need to take physics 2 at some point as well. For me, I skipped a lot of math classes because I did it all in high school, but for other people, it's like calc 1, calc 2. Calc 3 at some point. And you take all these classes just for general engineering. And to be honest, at this point, if you came into college like, oh, I want to be electrical engineer or I want to be in aerospace, like it doesn't matter. You can switch it at this point. It's fine. Like it doesn't matter. To be honest, your major isn't even like ECE or EE or CPE or ISE or MSE, if you know what any of these mean. The E stands for engineering and all of them. Okay. So at the end. Okay. So, whatever you get the point, some sort of engineering. And so if you switch here and your second semester in freshman year, you will take like one intro class to your thing. So I had an intro to ECE, which I'm still a general engineer, but they know where my interest is. So I take that intro to ECE course, and I'm sure that there's like an intro to aerospace, intro to material science, intro to whatever engineering. And you probably take that, and they go over a bunch of things like that you'll go through. So for the intro class, they did resistors, capacitors, inductors. They did, which is, double E stuff, and a very small amount on transistors right at the end. But then they did some stuff on logic and, binary and gates and such, and Arduino stuff, right? And the basic things for both EE and CPE to introduce you to both of them. Again, intro to ECE, not intro to EE, not intro to CPE, intro to ECE. Even though I only get an EE degree or a CPE degree, which is kind of dumb. But anyways, that's how it works. And then the second semester, or not second semester, second year, your sophomore year, so third and fourth semester, you have you're an ECE major, and you are a general ECE student. So you take general ECE classes regardless of what you want. And this is a point of contention for sure from a lot of my friends. A lot of them that want to do computer engineering, they do not at all enjoy the classes that they need to take for the EE part, right? No one enjoyed circuits and devices, right? And anyways, these classes, and other than my college, you can find them at any college. Every college has the same classes in their major. They're taught differently. They're taught in different ways. They might teach different things, but the class names kind of I have a circuits and devices class. If you go look at Berkeley, they have a circuits and devices class. I'm sure they have a physical electronics class, an embedded systems class, et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, second year, third, fourth semester, general ECE student, you take general ECE classes, both that are a combination of double E, ECE, or double E and CPE, and yeah. Then your third year, so your fifth and sixth semester, you go into general EE or general CPE. So general electrical engineering or general computer engineering, with one or two specialty classes. So as a micro nano specialty, which is what I am, that's in double E, so that's in electrical engineering. And that's my specialty. So I have the base classes that every electrical engineer needs to take: AC lab, AC circuits, EM fields. And to be completely honest, I'm never going to use any of the information I learn in any of those classes at the job I want to do ever. That's why they're general classes. They don't really apply. But it's kind of probably for if you do decide to switch your specialization in a semester or two, then you don't have to redo a bunch of classes. And so that's probably the reason that in prerequisite knowledge a lot of times. Why am I getting a phone call right now? Not going to be able to pick that up, but we're going to have to wrap up soon so I can call that guy back. Okay. Anyways, there's, that's what you do in your third year. Fourth year, I don't know, honestly. I want to say that it's all just specialty classes, and then there's a senior design project, and that takes up most of the time. But, anyways, most of the friends you may... Oh, my personal class, by the way, my specialty class is semiconductor fundamentals. It's semiconductor device fundamentals, where I just learned about semiconductors, silicon, I don't know, doping that with different stuff. So gallium, arsenide, I don't even know. It'll be fun. I hope it'll be good, because I think it's more physics-wise, and physics and materials and chem. I like the science behind all of it. Anyways, most of the friends you make in your first year, you'll probably lose in your second year, because they're going to go into a different engineering major than you. And then the friends that you make in your second year will probably go into a different specialty than you. And there's a lot of specialties. There's 10 to 16. I don't even remember. There's a ton. There's a lot of them. There's 8 between EE and CPE. And so, if not more. If I recall correctly, half of them are in EE, half of them are in CPE. A lot of my friends are going into CPE. Most of them are going into computer engineering, and I'm in, electrical engineer. So I will not be seeing them anymore at all. There's a chance I could have seen them if I secondary focused in CPE, which I thought about doing. However, I have a minor, and that minor is going to take up a crap ton of my time and a crap ton of my credit hours. So that's going to be my secondary focus, my minor. I'm a digital marketing minor. So that's what's going to happen. But yeah, I won't be seeing them. We don't have any classes in common whatsoever. In all honesty, this is kind of to be expected. I mean, life very rarely. This is just kind of what I've experienced in life. Very rarely do people stay around that long. This is super, and that's not to be depressing. Okay, I know this sounds super sad. I mean, look, we all lose friends, right? We all lose people going from high school to college, going from place to place. If you move, if they move, like things happen. Sometimes bridges don't burn. They just kind of erode, like the wood just decays. It's no one's fault. No one did anything. No one effing cut the ropes of the bridge. Like it's not that big. Sometimes it's just, left to the times, like the Titanic under the sea. Poetic, innit? As sad as it may be, which I mean, even so, even as lighthearted as we want to be about it, it is a little bit sad. You make great friends, you meet great people, and sometimes you're gonna lose them. And I kind of think about the Hyde, I don't know how he wants it pronounced. Hayd lyrics from his song Head in the Clouds. He said, quote, "There's an expiration dates on the friends you've made," end quote. I think that's been reasonably true in my life. My longest relationship now is like, ooh, man, that's a long time. How old am I now? Almost 6 years. Actually, the guy that called me is he's the longest one. The one I need to call back. But like that's the longest one I've had, and to be honest, it's super impressive because the guy lives like 50 billion miles away, and so the fact that we keep in touch, to be honest, we talk like once every like 2 to 4 weeks, right? It's not often, but it's just that when we do, there's no actually. It's perfect for Lilo, the word we said before in the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. A friendship that can lie dormant for years only to pick right back up instantly, as if no time had passed since you last saw each other. So like that's exactly how it is. Every time he calls, every time he texts, like there's no warming up time. Like we love each other, we trust each other, we know each other, we believe in each other, and there's no moment, there's not a second of like awkwardness that doesn't exist. We don't have that, and so it doesn't matter how much time passes. It's irrelevant. But but most generally, I've hundreds of people I've talked to, hundreds of people I've had like personal connections to. Most of them have left. And way more, like I worked at Panda Express, I worked as a customer service. In terms of just raw interaction, if we just counted the raw number of how many people I've talked to, it's a big number. Okay. And so, my average expiration date for friendships or any relationship, non-intimate, I don't do intimate relationships, I'm a celibate man, you know that, is about 3 months. If I'm consistently talking to them, that's like every single day I'm talking to them, about 3 months. It seems short, but it gives me what I need, honestly. When I talk to people, it's all about getting information from them, learning about them, and being able to use that information to further myself and further the people that I meet later, which is helpful and good. But, honestly, at this point, I get kind of confused when someone sticks around longer than 3 months. I don't really get it. I'm like, what do you want from me? Like, I thought that I was just taking from you, and is there something you're taking from me that I just don't know what's happening? I don't know. Like, I get really confused because I've talked about how relationships are transactional. And the thing is, like, I think that I'm always wondering, like, what am I giving people? Because, I talk a lot about, I take this from people, like this is what I get from people, this is the value that people give me, and I don't really talk about what value I'm giving them. And a lot of times, there's people that give me like a ton of value. They just help me with a lot of things. One of my friends who's going into computer engineering, this guy like basically like got me through all of my classes. Like, all of my friends were super smart and they could help me with things, but I really hate some people. I just know like they don't want to help you. They will because they're my friends, but like it's like, dog, I have other things to do. Like, you're dumb. Why do I have to suffer for it? And so But every now and then you meet someone who just has pity on your effing soul. And this guy, he did. He would, like, if I asked him a question, sometimes he was out and about, and he's a student too, as smart as he is. The guy, is he gonna, like, he doesn't have his notes on him all the time, right? Like he at some point he's like, I don't remember. But every time he would always respond whenever he could. And he would always help me with everything. He would just like walk me through assignments. He'd give me assignments. I didn't say that out loud. But without him, I definitely would have failed circuits and devices without him. That's just a fact. I would have. I think there's another class that statistics. I would probability and statistics. I did pass. I got a C plus. I got out of the class. 3.2 GPA in college. I'm still above a 3. But that course, he started doing the homework with me halfway through. I failed the first exam, awful. And the halfway through after the first exam, he did homework with me a lot. And other than just like making sure my homework had the right answers, he would like talk through the questions. And I think, to be honest, to one extent, it's like funny. You're sitting there, you're doing homework, and then you exaggerate like the simplicity of doing it. So sometimes if we have doing algebra homework with your friends, you're like, yes, x plus 3 is. You can't do that, but anyways. But like seeing him go over and seeing him talk about it, seeing him walk through the process, and it helped me learn how to understand how to think about the statistics problem, because they were all word problems. It helped me understand how to parse the problems, and so that really helped me. So exam 2, I did slightly above average, and it was really good. But exam 2 was harder, but he helped me a ton, and yeah, I would have failed one of my semesters without him. I for sure, right? Like whether it be this one or last one, like both of these semesters, this guy has helped me a ton, and I'm super grateful. Means everything. But like part of that is going back to what I was saying before. Like I don't know what I gave him at all. Like I didn't do anything for this guy. Like, every now and then I made fun of him. Like I don't like what more can I do, right? Like I know life. I'm good at life. I know psychology. I know neurology. I know biology. I know ologies, philosophy, which doesn't help anyone. Like history sometimes. The World War II stories are cool, but I know all these things about the human condition. I know about life. That's my area of expertise. That's what I've studied. That's what I'm good at. That's what I've helped people with. That's what I'm trained to do. That's what I'm trained in. I'm trained in life. I'm trained in the mind. I'm trained in understanding these things. I actually, like I said a few weeks ago or a week or two ago, I wrote down a lot of my things, a lot of my mental strifes and stuff, and I worked through it. And I watched myself work through my own issues, and I'm really, really just honking my own horn. I was really impressed with the way that I parsed everything. And we'll talk about that at some point on the podcast in a few, at some point. But like that's what I'm good at. Every now and then he'd come with me with like he was feeling bad because of things in his life, and I'd listen. I'd talk to him if he told me anything. I bullied him for being a drunkard. He's not a drunkard, but I bullied him for it. Just guilt tripping as much as I can, making him. Like the goal was like, at what point does it get to the point where like he looks at a bottle and he didn't like thinks of my face and he doesn't drink, But that's a very hopeful wish, but that's I didn't really, other than those few moments, he never really asked for like substantial help. Like I can give advice like here and there just fine. If you listen, your life will get like marginally better, of course, like it's fine. But the people that I help a lot of them are like 2, 3, 4 years process. Like it is a long time. One of the stories, I'm not sure if I've told on the podcast. I feel like I have. But one of my brothers, he took him, I want to say, okay, I was probably in, and that would have been, I want to say about 4 years it took him to like, he's like 98% like just healed now. Like the dude's doing so well compared to what he was. I'm going to go way over time now. But for that, like, and there was a question of like, do you want to be happy? Waiting for a response, and then I got one, and then we walked through it. But for my friend who got me through my classes here, we're both really busy. I have a podcast, I have a YouTube channel, and I have a YouTube channel didn't even get posted to, right? And I have all my classes, and he's really smart. He procrastinates a lot, but he can do homework in like an hour if he wants to, because he can figure out how to do it really quickly and then do it. For me, like, I can do homework for 5 hours, like one assignment, and I still can't get it done because I'm just not good at it. Regardless of how much I like it. And is it gonna be a lot to cut out in it? Oh, coffee's back, huh? Yeah. I'm a bit stronger today. Anyways, we're both really busy, so there was never any point where that, and I don't know, man, I'm kind of retired from helping people. Of course, other than this podcast, in which case, hopefully you get something from this and you get helped from it. But in terms of personally one-on-one working with someone and helping them, I don't really do that anymore these days. So I never really asked him specifically, but I was waiting for him to one day come to me just like completely broken and like really tired. We got really close right near the end, but I was studying for finals. He had finals. So it's not time right now. If he ever comes back to me, then that will happen. But like, I never gave him anything, right? Like, it's not like, there's some people in the world today that are alive because of my intervention, that because of my existence. Is there something? No, that's just my bed sheet. Those people, I know what I've done for them, their life. I made sure they're not dead, right? Like, that's a lot to give. But this guy, I didn't do that. Like, I'm not smarter than him. I didn't give him anything. He's like brilliant, even though he's not as knowledgeable on psychology or all these things that I know. The only reason I know more than him in these facets are because I've studied it. Like, that's it. He literally just never looked. Of course he doesn't know. But if I told him, he would get it in 1 second. Something that might have taken me 5 effing times read over on a research paper. This is the same sentence 5 times. If I tell him once, like, he's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, he gets it. He's brilliant. But I never. It's like, and then there was no substantial things given to him. I guess if he listened to every single thing I said and took my word like 100%, like completely, then yes, his life could have significantly gotten better, right? I mean, I think, as arrogant as it sounds, I usually know what I'm talking about a little bit with what I've gone through. And if someone listens to all of the advice completely, no questions asked that I give them, actually some questions asked, questions are good, their lives are probably going to significantly get better. If you listen to every single piece of advice I give on this podcast, if I listen to every single piece of advice that I gave on this podcast, life would be significantly better. I listened to most of it, right? I came up with it, but we all slip. I just didn't know what value I was giving him whatsoever. And so, like, someone like that, if they wanted to talk to me more, I'd be super, like, just mind blown. Like, what are you doing? You're, like, wasting your time. You're, like, losing your, like, this transaction is so bad for you. This is the worst investment you can make ever. Why are you doing this? Like, I just don't know. And I don't like that. I don't like, I'm fine with taking things from people, especially if it's offered. I'm going to take it. But, like, at some point, it's like, dog, this just isn't fair. I'm not okay with you giving me this much and me not being able to give you anything back. Like, I'm wasting your time. Stop. But that's kind of why I like the 3-month cycle. I think it's good. I'm going to get back to my script. That was a long effing tangent. Holy crap. My attachment issues aside, these transitionary moments, these transitionary spaces in my life have always been kind of, I don't know how to put it, but gray. Gray is the best I can think of. They're not exactly depressing because nothing bad really happened. If anything, it's great that you graduated, move forward in college. You get the point. But the sense of loss leaves you a bit poignant. It leaves you with an ambivalence that's gray. is a bit weird, and maybe it's irrational, but in those times, in those moments, in the liminal spaces, you feel a rough concoction of feelings, and it's never really something that I've seen anyone enjoy. But yes, moving on with classes, knowing I won't be seeing my friends again, although we can say, we'll keep in touch. Of course, one of them's the president of the effing engineering thing at my college, and so if I ever participate in that, I'll see him. But we're all extremely busy, right? Especially with the major we're in. Just regardless of how smart you are, maybe you just procrastinate. But whether you're in electrical engineering, computer engineering, these are some of the hardest engineerings you can do. Like micro nano systems is god awful. I'm dealing with things that your eye can't see. At least not one of them. Most of the times, even that we hung out, we'd go to eat here and there, but it's usually we're doing homework, right? Or we talked about classes when we talked. And I know how to talk to people, but it was centered around school. Without that, I'm not exactly sure whether or not I'll be able to make more friends going into my new classes, because I got really, really lucky. I know some people in Double E, so at least for the next 2 semesters, I'll still know some people. But honestly, I got really lucky meeting the people I met last year. I was just a message on Zoom, which is really easy, but the classes might be smaller next semester, so that might help. I don't know. Well, hopefully I'll get lucky again. I really hope so. But going in, the baseline consideration is not going to meet anyone. Don't go in expecting to rely on people for homework, which is, if I can't meet people that can help me with homework, that is definitely my real concern, if we're being completely honest here. But I think this is natural. It's happened. One of my friends, the one that brought up the liminal spaces, he's moving to go run a business that he started, which is really, really cool. But I knew him in high school, and we only got close over the past few months. So there's this sense of, man, we could have been friends so much sooner, and we've talked about that before, and it kind of sucked. But I'm not a man of the past, so I don't think about it too much. Fortunately or unfortunately, I have a lot to do over summer. Even this script took me around 4 hours to write because I was watching YouTube on the side. Which, note to self, don't do that again. Don't do it. No, bad. Nope. No. These scripts should not take more than 2 hours to write maximum, especially not this script, this is a 20-minute effing script, except for the fact that I talked for 40 effing minutes about my effing, the love letter of sadness, and I don't know, man, it's like walking out on your family or something, basically, I don't know what I can offer you, so I'm just leaving. This is freaking crap. But I kind of just threw my entire day away when I wrote this script, which was on Friday, 2 days ago, but it'd be like that sometimes for all of us in it. But I think I actually wasted my day yesterday too. I went to work, I came home from work, I'm going to finish this Google to search ad certification. I got through one effing module. Anyway, I got work. I finished work yesterday, so that's great. Probably going to spend my time after work on the Google thing, which I did, and then I spent all of just doing nothing. I don't even know what happened. I wasn't even distracted. I was just sitting there staring at it for a while. Monday, tomorrow, I will edit my video on linear algebra. Did this not save? I think a lot of my script just didn't save, and that sucks. Frick. I'm going to edit the video on linear algebra I made, and then, hopefully I'll get it done on Monday. I can finish my thing on my search ad certification on Tuesday, and then Wednesday the video will get uploaded, and then I need to work on another video to try to get that out on the next Wednesday after. I'm going to be building a PC. That'll be I want to say Friday everything will be in. Friday, Saturday sort of thing. If it's Saturday, then someone's going to help me build it. And so he'd have to wait until after 12 p.m., which would be a bit rough for him. But anyways, I'm still reading Tokyo Ghoul manga. I'm going to read Oyasumi Punpun with someone else, so I'm waiting for him to finish his math exam, and then we'll go for it. But other than that, I will, that's about all I got. thank you so much for listening to this episode of Seriously Funny. Liminal Spaces, huh? Crazy. YouTube them. There's a great documentary from Solar Sands that some of the script was based off of. He did a really, really good job analyzing these liminal spaces. He's a docu channel and he's really good. So go give that a watch. Aside from that, we got nothing. Again, thank you so much for watching, listening to this episode of Seriously Funny. I am your host, Mashnur Kabir. I'm writing fiction, and I will be splitting that into more things, and you will be getting some fictional stories on this podcast as a trial run maybe, because I might make it its own thing. But anyways, much love. I will talk at you next week. Don't no clip into the back rooms. Peace.